Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are in the review packet for Chapter 5, Writing Linear Functions, and this is Review 2. So let's start by reading the question. I know, so stressful. The equation y equals 123x describes the function for the number of toys y produced at Toys Plus in X minutes of production time. Another company, Number 1 Toys, has a similar function, also linear, that assigns the values shown in the table below. Which company produces toys at a slower rate? Explain. This is important, at a slower rate. So here, this equation is for Toys Plus. And this chart is going to be for Number 1 Toys. So I'm going to start with Number 1 Toys and the chart. How do you do a chart? Well, there's two ways to do it. You could take 2 points off of it and use the equation, or you could do the change in y over the change in x. How do I get the change in y? Well, to get from 600 to 1,320, you would subtract. Say, how could I do that? Being the lazy human that I am, hey Siri, what's 1,320 minus 600?
1,320 minus 600 is 720.
So the change in y there is 720. Hey Siri, what's 1,560 minus 1,320?
1,560 minus 1,320 is 240.
Okay. Now, what's 11 minus 5? Hey Siri, what's 11 minus 5?
11 minus 5 is 6.
Hey Siri, what's 13 minus 11?
1,311 is an integer 1,000.
Ugh, she's not listening well today, is she? Well, I know that 13 minus 11 is 2. I can do that one. So, first, I just want to check that these two are the same because the x's are different and the y's are different. So I'm going to do the change in y over the change in x. And make sure you put the right ones together. 720 over 6. Oh, I know that. 6 goes into 72, and then I could just add a 0. Or, being the truly lazy bono that I am, I could use my calculator to do that. 720 over 6 equals 120. Okay, now change in y over change in x, 240 over 2. You know what? That's the same 120. I don't even need a calculator for that one. So I know for these, my m is 120. So my equation is going to be y equals mx plus b, y equals 120x, and there's no plus b because there are no toys to start with here. So just this is my equation for, and now here's the important part, labeling things. This is Number 1 Toys. So Number 1 Toys produces 120 toys in a minute. Not so hard, right? So Number 1 Toys, 120 toys per minute. How do I know that? Because I'm looking at the y is toys and the x is minutes. So I know it's 120 toys per minute. Now, let's look at Toys Plus. Toys Plus. And Toys Plus has an equation y equals 123x, which means it makes 123 toys per minute. Again, I'm just looking at the units that are on the chart. And I know the units are the same. So let's compare these two. The question is, which company produces toys at a slower rate? Slower. Who's slower? 123 is faster than 120, so number one toys is slower. Number one toys is slower. I'll put a little puffy cloud around that. How do I know? Well, 120 is less than 123. I'm going to put a box around there because that's all the explanation I'm going to give them. I'm bad. Here we go. Which table represents a non-linear function? Show your work to explain your answer. So let's do the change in y over the change in x. Here we go. Change in y, change in x. So to get from 0 to 1 is 1. From 1 to 4 is 3. 100 to 50, well, that is negative 50. And from 50 to 0 is negative 50. All right? So now I have to make my equations. Change in y over change in x equals negative 50 over 1, which, by the way, is definitely not equal to negative 50 over 3. Since they're not the same slope, the slopes are different. The slopes are not equal. So this is not a function. This is not a linear function. If they're not equal, it's not a linear function. Now let's take a look at the next one. I'm going to do that in a different color because me. To get from 0 to 1 is 1. To get from 1 to 3 is 2. So my change in x is 1 and 2. To get from 100 to 75 is negative 25. But to get from 75 to 25 is negative 50. This is the change in y. So change in y over change in x equals negative 25 over 1 and negative 50 over 2. Well, those are equal. 25 times 2 is 50, and 1 times 2 is 2. These are equal. The slopes are equal, or the slopes are the same, could use either word. The slopes are the same, the slopes are equal. So this is a function, a linear function. Oh, I forgot the word linear. This is a linear function. Okay, that's good. That's definitely a linear function. Now, the next page, here we go. Look at each set of ordered pairs. Is the set a function? Select yes or no. Okay, so if the x value repeats, it is not a function. So I'm looking for x values that repeat. So here we go. I'm going to use a highlighter for this. X value is the first one, so negative 3, negative 1, 0, 4. They do not repeat, so yes, it is a function. Negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. They do not repeat, so it is a function. 5, 9, 5, 0. They repeat. The 5 repeats, so it is not a function. Negative 3, 7, 2, negative 3. It does it again. Negative 3, negative 3. It repeats, so it's not a function. So if the x value repeats, it is not a function. Not a function. Circle the equation that represents a linear function. In order to be linear, you have to have an exponent of 1. So, this one, you have to distribute the x. So x times x, that's x squared. That is not a function. This is a function. The exponents are both 1. This is y to the first power, x to the first power. Squared, not a function. Y to the first power, x to the first power, that's a function. So, the exponent has to be 1, and only 1. It can't be less than 1. It can't be like a fraction or a negative or anything either. So, find the equation of a line that passes through, here we go. And x1, y1, x2, y2, and you write the equation m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And to do this one, I'm just going to highlight a little because you know I like to do that. I am going to do y2 minus y1, so 3 minus 1 over 0 minus negative 1. Oh my, 3 minus 1 is 2. Keep change, it's going to be 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1, so 2 over 1 equals 2. So my m is 2. But remember, the y value when x equals 0, the y value when x equals 0 is 3. So b equals 3. Y equals mx plus b, y equals 2x plus 3. And a puffy cloud of happiness because there's my equation. The next one, rewrite in slope-intercept form. So the way you do this is you want to get the y by itself on one side. So 3x minus 6y equals 15. First, add or subtract the x to get it to the other side. So minus 3x from both sides. 3x minus 3x is 0. Bring down negative 6y equals, now I want it in mx plus b form. I want it to be y equals mx plus b. So the x should come before the b. Y equals negative 3x plus 15. Do not try to combine those things. They are unlike terms and do not combine. I want to get rid of the negative 6, so divide everything by negative 6. And you get y equals negative 3 divided by negative 6 is 1/2 x plus, you can't divide here because you're going to end up with a fraction anyhow, but you can reduce it to lowest terms and get negative 5 over 2. Oh, no. You can't have that, Bono. Look at that. Plus a negative? Plus a negative is the same as subtraction. So y equals 1/2 x minus 5 over 2. Puffy cloud of happiness because that's my equation. Simplify this. What rule is that? That is the product rule. So multiply the numbers. 4 times negative 6. Keep the base, add the exponents. 4 plus, there's an invisible 1 there. 4 plus 1. Keep the base b, add the exponent 6 plus 7. Well, 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. 4 plus 1 is 4, so 4 plus 1 is 4. Look at me saying stupid things. 4 plus 1 is 5, so you write a to the 5th. 6 plus 7 is 13, so b to the 13th. You end up with 24, a to the 5th, b to the 13th. Puffy cloud of happiness, because that's my answer. This is telling me find the product, so I know it's the product rule. I'm going to do the same thing. Multiply the coefficients, 10 times 3. keep the base, add the exponents. And look, there's no exponent on that x again, so I'm gonna put my own little 1 there. 1 plus 2, and there's no y, so it just stays 5. 10 times 3 is 30. X 1 plus 2 is 3, so x to the third. Y to the fifth stays y to the fifth, and a puffy cloud of happiness, because that's my answer. Quotient rule. What do you do for quotient rule? You divide the numbers, so 18 divided by 2, and then you're going to subtract the exponents. So x, and I'm going to subtract 6 minus 4, and then the y is separate because you can only combine exponents when the base is the same, so 3 minus 2. And let's see, 18 divided by 2 is 9, 6 minus 4 is 2, x to the second, and 3 minus 2 is 1, y to the first. But you don't need this 1 here, so just write it, 9x squared y. You don't, it's implied that you have a 1 there, so you don't have to write that. Puffy cloud of happiness, and on to the next one. Look at that. I have a negative exponent there, yucky. That means that this goes over 1 and gets flipped over, so 8 to the negative 2 is 1 over 8 squared. Anything to the 0 power is 1, so plus 1. 8 squared is a big number, a very big number. 8 times 8 is 64. So this is going to be 1 and 1 over 64. And that's as simple as I can make that. Actually, that's evaluated. I don't know. That bothers me. I think they used the wrong word there. All right. Given the following relation, list the domain and the range. It's alphabetical. Domain is the x's, range is the y's. So I'm going to do the x's with a black pen and the y, the range, with a red pen. Probably should use yellow, but whatever. Domain x, 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 x. You make the curly bracket, -2, -1, 0, and 1. Close that curly bracket. And the range is the y's. 4, 3, 2, 1. Curly bracket. 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm done, right? No. Look at what I did. I want you to think about, what mistake did I make? You know I made a mistake. I didn't do it on purpose, but I did make a mistake. Oh, you saw it, right? You saw that I forgot to put the commas between my numbers, because otherwise it looks like -2 minus 10, and it doesn't look right. You have to have the commas between your numbers when you're doing a set of numbers. So be careful, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.